I use two course assignments around which to design formative assessment in the course under consideration. One of them is called weekly journal entries, which allows students to choose which reading, required or recommended, they want to react to. Part of the assignment structure, they have to comment on how their chosen reading aligns with or diverges from their schema or mindset based on prior knowledge and/or relevant experience. That promotes flexibility in their selection of course materials with the most relevance to their own professional circumstances. As a note, this assignment requires individual student submission of work. There is no collaborative component to it. Feedback is structured following the template for the journal entry, which is posted on the Learning Management System, or course shell, a week in advance. The feedback to students also includes a qualitative commentary related to their reaction to a given reading material. Additionally, whenever appropriate, I probe into what they say or suggest further analysis into a particular topic mentioned in their journal entry. At times, I recommend supplemental materials that they could use if they show interest in pursuing a concept, theory, or practice. As far as feedback on activities that are not part of any course assignment is concerned, that is not part of the class policy or syllabus. If there is an issue that emerges, I deal with it based on contact that I establish with students on an individual basis by way of using the course shell built-in emailing function. My role as instructor is to be available as needed as students work on this particular type of assignment in case they had any clarifying questions for me. Students work individually and asynchronously on their journal entries as their respective schedule permits, while observing the due dates set in place by the course syllabus. I am the only individual developing, implementing, and monitoring this formative assessment procedure. There are two ways in which this type of formative assessment is tied to summative assessment. On the one hand, as I provide feedback to students, by which I pose a probing question or elicit clarifying comment from them, their replies enhance our online conversations, which adds to their class participation, which, should be noted, carries weight toward the final grade. On the other hand, the feedback provided allows students to improve on their submission of subsequent journal entries, therefore allowing me as course instructor to comment on any relevant evidence of improved assignment quality whenever that becomes evident. There is another type of assignment I use with my students. I call it suggestions for synchronous chat sessions. In that case, each student is asked, though it is not compulsory to comply with the requirement, so they're asked to recommend topics for discussion during upcoming synchronous chat sessions. As a note, these sessions do not rely on a consistent composition of student groups, as they can choose the day when they could join the chat. They all have to attend a total number of 3 to 5 sessions required that are sequenced in a manner that permits them to work around their schedule. This voluntary or recommended requirement is also to be completed by students on an individual basis without any collaborative component. There is no feedback built into this assignment, as it is not required of everyone in class, so that is a fair practice consideration. Moreover, there is no feedback on any component that is not part of this assignment, for the same reasons mentioned earlier. My role as instructor was to be available to them upon completion of this type of assessment. As it is the case for the previous type of assessment, students work individually and asynchronously on their suggestions for chat sessions as their respective schedule permits, while observing the due dates set in place by the course syllabus. I'm the only individual developing, implementing, and monitoring this formative assessment procedure. This type of assessment does not get factored into the final grade, as it is to be used on a voluntary basis by students.